G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's with our toy review, and today is the very last toy review of 2021. Even if I will start making videos for 2021 and into 2022, of course, yes, I would like to say Happy New Year as well to wherever you live, because in my area, being the UK, it actually is New Year's Eve. And funnily enough, I think we're about 13 hours away from, depending on which country you are from there, okay, so obviously, even though I sound Australian, obviously the fireworks will start in 1 o'clock there, I think in Sydney, but I think in London will be quite different though. I don't think there'll be any pyrotechnics there, but anyways, I think that's going to be pretty much, nevertheless, how would you say it, just as good as, you know, all of the other countries who are pretty much doing their New Year's Eve / New Year's Day spectacles though. And even if 2021 has been tough, and so is 2020, well, 2021 has been quite tough, just as, you know, 2020 is. And after so, let me just go ahead and grab the webcam, by the way, eh? And even if 2021 is quite a tough year, I mean, I wonder how would 2022 would shape things along the way. I think hopefully it'll get better. Well, in reality, it may start to get worse, but today's toy review is going to be quite different. Of course, we've got a train running along, of course, in my Tomy / Trackmaster layout. And yes, we have got these 4 products here. Got a funny feeling they are the last generation 125.5 2021 We've got toys. And yes, just before I should actually start in this toy review, of course, yes, I could definitely say that 2021 has been quite hard. And even if something has gone completely wrong, or even if, you know, 2020 was worse, much of 2021 was worse, but not as worse as 2020. And it feels like that we people have been entering at the workforce, at least from 2020, and for 2021, to prepare for something for the next year, which is of course 2022. And we'll let that time go by again. Of course, yes, we've got some water-themed toys, I think, which is nice. And I mean, it looks fairly nice. Maybe 4 or 5. I just can't really remember at the moment, because obviously, you know, I'm just pretty much changing in the way I do reviews and whatnot. I'm just pretty much a random guy who does, you know, bloody toy reviews all the time. Crazy, isn't it? Eh? Crazy. And yes, 2021 is pretty much a year to remember, because you know why? Well, it's been quite tough. It's not pretty much the OG Annis Horribilis of the modern age, because obviously 2020 had that, you know, had that ranking in a sense. But you know what, I think 2022 would pretty much start to play differently, just as 2021 is. And 2021 for me, in my opinion, I think has done so much better than 2020. But who knows how would 2022 is going to perform. Anyways, let me just start off with something quite watery first. Okay, starting off with this. Oh, it's a flip-up origami. Oh, it's a British Wildlife Collection. £3 toy. Never knew they would sell in £3 in large envelopes like that. It's called the Great Crested Grebe Courtship Cootie Interruption 5-pack. As you can see, there's a common Coots. Costs about £3. And the back of the packaging looks like that. Okay, so obviously you can see the grebes are courtshipping with carp on their beaks, obviously. It looks like little tiny baby carp, obviously, eh? And you've got a common coot who's pretty much spectating at the Great Crested Grebes. Maybe it's just a friendly interruption though, but who knows. Anyways, we'll just go ahead and unpack this. And let's see how it comes out. Oh yeah! I've actually got a funny feeling that Great Crested Grebes and common coots are pretty much about the size between a feral pigeon and a mallard. So that's why I've made the coot a lot more bigger than it actually is. But nevertheless, let's see how this toy review performs. And yes, as the new year is about to come in, of course, yes, everything will be different. In fact, I have made Great Crested Greed products before, but man, I've never thought of, you know, maybe I should try and make some more Great Crested Greed products, eh? That'd be a winner. Because, you know, I would have been more pretty much proud to make as many Great Crested Greeds, but sadly I don't have that many. Which is a bit sad, but maybe hopefully sometime in 2022 I will try and start to think about making as many Great Crested Grebes. Again, it's a breeding plumaged Great Crested Grebe. I think they normally tend to, you know, pretty much formulate with this type of plumage at, you know, at least around January or February, and then they carry on using it until like September or October. I can't really remember, eh? Lovely face on that Great Crested Grebe with that great long pointy beak at the front. Very nice to stab at fish. Looks quite nice. It's got that dagger-like bill, eh? Does look like a mix between a heron and a duck, I believe so, or maybe an egret and a duck. And yeah, that's how I can easily describe it. It's like a, or maybe it's an egret. Okay, so it's like an egret with a duck's body though. That's how I can pretty much describe a Great Crested Grebe. And sadly, back in these old days, like, you know, in the 19th century and whatnot, these birds, these poor water birds, have been prized for their feathers. And, you know, for hats and other things like handbags, clothing, and whatnot. But nevertheless, it's probably a protected species, which is nice to hear. And we've also got some baby little carp for the Great Crested Grebes to devour on. Okay, they look very, very nice. I mean, it's not the worst of all toys I've been producing so far, but yet again, toys, yeah, as always in the toy aisle, detailing costs money, and you know I'm gonna say next, don't you? The devil is in the detail. I've got a funny feeling I'm trying to pretty much adding so much detailing while the devil just keeps on bashing at me. But anyways, let's just go ahead and plonk the carp onto the grebe's beak to look like if they were nabbing. But not only that, but this is something like a very weird and actually obvious springtime moment. You know, in the springtime when Great Crested Grebes are courtshiping, that's how I could normally see them. Especially when I see them, you know, here's a good pose, eh? I think I'd normally tend to play with water, but here's a demonstration without water here. We're meant to be splashing though once we're courtshipping with fish. Look at that, and they're also meant to be spinning around, I think, when they're courtshipping, I think. And that's how I can interpret the Great Crested Grebe breeding courtship display moment. And we've also got the Coots, which is just very similar to the other Coots I've made so far in previous videos. But nevertheless, Coots are very nice and common looking water birds, which may look like ducks, but they're actually not ducks. Yeah, quite a nice looking bird. As you can see, it's got like a very red, evil eye, like the Great Crested Grebes. And there's the other side here too. Crockies, I also like the beak design on this bird as well. Gives it a very nice, almost realistic design, and mind you, I've got a funny feeling that the Coot definitely needs a lot more credit too. Because of the fact that, well, Coots are quite common looking water birds. Well, anyways, that's that product done, eh? Oh, that's strange, crikeys! That Great Crested Grebe should have got a name. It shouldn't really have a name being lost. Well, you know what? This Great Crested Grebe won't have a name. That will be gone and lost forever. Because you know why? I'm gonna grab Mr. Pencil. And I'm just gonna go ahead and write the name. Why is it always like this when I do toy reviews like that? How weird. Maybe it's a sloppy ending to 2021, but who knows? Mind you, I've got a funny feeling 2021 has been quite a tough year, just as 2020, and I know 2022 may sound quite contrary to the obvious factor that we're heading towards, like, you know, the light to the ends of the tunnel, of course, eh? To the very bright and light end of the tunnel. But let's just keep on going. Next product, it's a flip-flop origami, flapping birds. It's a kelp gull and Pacific gull pelagic fishing mixed family flock 12-pack. As you can see, I can just see the word family right between Pacific and flock. Those two words there. And the product costs about £15. It's a very strange error though for the kelp gull. I think it's a kelp gull because of the beak of the bird there, right? And let's take a look at the back of the packaging. Of course, there you go. That's what the overall design looks like, eh? It is really, really nice. Got a funny feeling, eh? You know what? This is actually quite a very good and spectacular looking product. Alright, anyways, let me just go ahead and come in and do the unpacking. As always, as per usual. And strangely enough, 2021, yeah, normally I tend to make products with a very dry note. But strangely enough, I feel like that the flip-flop universe has received the first time rainfall for late December since 2017. That was way before my channel was born. But anyways, let me just go ahead and show you the sardines. Obviously, they look pretty much the same. I mean, have I made these types of sardines before? Of course I have. I mean, obviously, these sardines may look like the wishy-washy Pokemon, but yeah, they look quite nice. I mean, obviously, it's not too bad, in the way it's been designed. Of course, they're pretty much based on sardines. You know, I'd probably specifically say the Pacific sardines. And mind you, I got a funny feeling that, you know what, this really is quite nice and lavish, even though I would probably think that these fishies are made in a very sloppy manner. Okay, it's very nice design on the toys here. I just can't fault apart from the detailing. Well, obviously, I got a funny feeling that flip-flop has been changing, you know, in the way toys have been designed. And I feel like I've been proving to myself that, hey, you know, I can design toys as many as I want to. And, yes, it really is quite, you know. Anyways, I can't delve into any more talking there on the sardine, but let's take a look at the seagulls next. Let me just show you what the Pacific gull looks like. As you can see, there's the beak there, of course. It's red and yellow on the front. And you've also got a black tail at the ends. Okay, it looks like that. Once you start to flap this bird, obviously it does have those beautiful black patterns on the wings here. They look pretty nice, I suppose, eh? Yeah, that actually looks quite cool. And we've also got a name here, Pacific Gull. Okay, it looks very, very nice and very lavishly detailed by the looks of it there, eh? It looks superbly beautiful. And next up, let's take a look at this kelp gull. I mean, why am I thinking of the lesser blackback gull in terms of that design? I mean, it does have the yellow, like, feet on the back, like so. And if I show you on the other side, let me just show you on the other leg. Yes. And mind you, I have to say that with that sort of design, it gives them a very realistic aesthetic. I love it. I love it a lot. There you go. There's the wing detailings here of my kelp gull, looking very similar to that of a, you know, Pacific gull. Of course, I do have a second. I'll just say kelp gull or Pacific gull. Obviously, the way to tell the difference between a kelp gull and a Pacific gull. Let me just show you the differences here. Noticing that the black tail and the red part of the beak is missing on the kelp gull. That's how I can tell easily between these two species. And yes, same with this one here. It's got those prominent features, you know, the black tail and the red end that the kelp gull doesn't have. You know, it looks pretty nice, very accurate to what these birds are meant to be, and very simplistic as well. That's another thing I could also say on the making of these birds. And we'll take a look at the juvenile gulls. I think these are first winter ones. This is a kelp gull because it's got a prominent grey beak at the front. And there you go, juvenile kelp gull. Looking very similar to that of a lesser blackback gull, but yeah, that's all I can make that out. And we've also got the Pacific gull, who strangely enough has actually got pink on the other half, which is quite interestingly different. I think it's very different to that of a kelp gull juvenile. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get the wings moving properly because it looks like it's been quite a sloppy flyer. See how I can make this bird fly? Oh yes. And remember that yes, even though Australia is having like a summer, which is pretty much a shocker, obviously, I've got a funny feeling that yes, I'm pretty much living in the coldest part of our country. Though obviously I'm living in the cold northern hemisphere, obviously, that's all I can say, but contrary to popular belief, it really is quite bloody mild outside there at the moment. We're getting temperatures of 14 or 15 degrees Celsius, if not 17. I think the last time we had a warm New Year's Eve was in Wales. I think it was in, not that far from Llandudno there, it was like 15 degrees Celsius. Crikeys. Let me just take a look at this product here, entering to some tropical themed products. Speaking of tropical, this one here is called the Flip-Up-Origami Flapping Birds. It's also a pets product because we've got some parrots. It's called the Tropical Eclectus Parrots Dual Pack. Costs about £3. Same price, but, well, I would have thought the Peregrine Falcons I did earlier on this year when I did the Christmas stuff. But no, they're actually a bit cheaper. Crikeys. And they look pretty similar to the one I did. Remember I did these parrots back then on the 10 reviews in 10 minutes video that I did back then, eh? It was such a great video to create, eh? And it's just unpacked itself right. I'm off to repack the whole product here, right? And let's take a look at what the parrots look like. We've got the male and the female. Actually, I need to do the female first because as you were saying, ladies first. Okay, the female, as you can tell, she's got blue at the front. She does look very tropical. She looks like a scarlet macaw. And the tail looks pretty fiery at the back there as well. Well, I would have thought it looks like a fire type Pokemon, but it's not. But yes, it looks pretty awesome. She does have stereotypical eyelashes for feminine-like birds, or feminine-like characters. And she also has a prominent yellow eye. It's very beautiful. And in hero position, as I can tell, that, yes, there's the wings. Looking very nice and lavishly detailed as well. That's the fundamental part about Flip-Flap. It tends to create toys in a very lavishly detailed manner. I have to say, it looks very, very nice indeed. I mean, usually it tends to be quite sloppy, but I've never seen this so lavishly detailed. This is so beautiful. I would have never thought, wow. I mean, look at the colours. They're just screaming at you. Red and blue and light blue. Man, it is amazing. But the very best thing about these birds is that they have names. It's a female Eclectus parrot on that one there, okay? And we've also got a male Eclectus parrot, which strangely enough has got like bold painting, okay? And if I flap on this bird here, it looks quite different. Normally these guys tend to be, well, very social, and all parrots are like that, eh? But strangely enough, I've never seen them in the wild before. I think they're found in Australia, but I think it's mainly particularly in the Cape York Peninsula, the tropical rainforests of Queensland, and also Indonesia, you know, and New Guinea, possibly those islands in Indonesia, I think. But yeah, it is truly a tropical parrot. Indeed, if you look at it this way, it lives in tropical rainforests and jungles and whatnot, but also its colour scheme. Fancy that one, eh? Fancy that indeed. I love the tail detailing at the back. Also that fiery parrot beak, and also the eyes. Oh yeah. Lovely scarlet detailing as well. Scarlet red. And the blue wing detailings as well. That's very, very nice. Actually, do I see a hint of aqua blue? Or is it teal? Turquoise? I really don't know. But yes, it's a very nice looking design. I would have never thought making tropical themed products in 2021, the very end of 2021. Crikey, it's kind of like what I did with the chimpanzees and the frickin' lemurs I did back then in 2020, but this time in a much more wetter and Aussie sort of style. And finally, something completely and utterly strange for 2021. Possibly one of our last products that we're going to be taking a look at. It is the flip-flap. Oh, it's not an origami product. It's a tropical fan palm replica ×6 card palm leaf fan. Wow, never seen that one before, eh? Also, it's some very weird readings. It has 6 palm leaves that keep you cool, even at school. What a rhyme, eh? And it also features great appendages to give the movement of a palm, or is it a fan palm? I think it's a leaf, obviously. These parts there are, of course, the leaves. Why am I thinking thistles at the moment, though? Yeah, for Scotland. For Scott's sake, obviously, eh? Let's get it, eh? But that's a bit of a pun I've just made up, eh? For Scott's sake. Because of the fact that this fan palm looks like a freaking thistle. Anyways, let's take a look at what it says. Designed to look like a fan palm leaf. What's that called here, eh? Hexaple? I think hexaple means 6, right? Without saying the S-E-X type word, eh? I wouldn't say the word sex there, otherwise I'd be demonetized. And there's actually a lot of very weird bullet points here as well. There's some arrows here as well. Almost got the same readings as well. There you go, these leaves are there just to bring wind. It's amazing. That's so cool. It also tells me it also gives a good amount of durability and smooth movements. Oh wow. And oh wow, it looks very nice. Especially suited for mildly warm to hot days, especially summertime. Yes, I can take that as a yes. Based on tropical fan palms. Well, can I believe it? I mean, not all palm trees are tropical, but that's how I can pretty much speculate to the stereotypicalness of tropical palm trees and whatnot, though, eh? No, I think the most tropical one would be the coconut. And what's also very strange is, but actually very truthful is that the cardboard that's been made in, or the components of this cardboard toy or piece of merchandise is made in India. So normally I tend to make toys that are made in the UK, China, and all the other places and whatnot, though, eh? But it's strange, made in India. Clockies, that is rare seeing that. But anyways, let me just go ahead and come in and do the unpacking. I had some Christmas cards made in China though, which is quite strange, eh? But yes, look at this. It's very nice. I mean, look at this beautiful made in India and sort of fan palm sort of cardboard. How would you say? It's not really cardboard, but it's a card. How would you say? Fan palm tree farm. I mean, no, it's not farm though. So why do I keep the freaking words mixed up for some strange reason, eh? It's meant to say the word fan, not farm, eh? But yeah, there you go. That is a freaking tropical fan palm replica fan. You can just pretty much do that though, eh? It's got those spiky leaves. Oh boy, I bet you what, you would actually poke on a little toddler there and they'll be crying in agony though with that, but because it's Happy New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, we can't talk about that one. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, if you're watching this video on YouTube, y'all. Anyways, let me try and go ahead and see how this one works. And quite weird, there's actually a couple of ways to do it, eh? You can just pretty much move this model here up and down to get a bit of movement here so that, it produces wind. But I think the other thing I could also do is pretty much maybe hold on all of the 6 stems or appendages together, and what I can do is pretty much shake like this. Gives me a bit of cooling effect though, eh? I don't know if I could do a bit of cooling demonstrations here, but surely does give me a bit of movement there, eh? Wow, I gotta tell you what, this is the most, if not tropical sort of thing. This is very tropical. I've never seen this. This is the most tropical thing I've ever seen that flip-flap has actually produced. that is not an animal but a freaking plant. Crockies, I've never thought of making tropical fan palms. And this is definitely the first I've made a toy that has components made in India. Made in India, of course, that's a very rare thing. But strangely enough, it's a very nice looking item. And yes, India is a tropical climate, so yep. That's why I could pretty much hence the fact that, you know, India is quite tropical and it's made in India and it's designed after a freaking fan palm. Fancy that one, eh? And what's also quite strange about this fan palm is that it's also got like, ooh, that's weird. It's got like a staple in the middle here, eh? So that, you know, it was going to be covered in super glue, but well, I've just added some super glue just to look like they've been attached, of course. But yes, the majority of it is super glue, and also this staple here as well, on the middle. Just to look like if this thing was standing there for a long time without being broken in packaging. Well, I have to say, this really is pretty much the very last toy review for 2021. And I shall do toy reviews in 2022, I think. And yes, it really is what it is. And I got a funny feeling that 2021 has been quite tough. But I think the best moment so far, I have to say that, you know, there's actually quite a lot of things I could say about 2021. But what I can describe 2021 is that it had a first half downfall and a second half, I'll just say it, it's like the part that it's like a year where it goes onto a first half downfall and all of a sudden acts like a second half phoenix. It's like a, you know, it's like that part whenever I think of, you know, when the bird dies or when the phoenix dies or whatever type of bird dies or any other certain being. Whenever, you know, whenever we think of death, you know, there is a positive side about this, alright? I do believe that everything rises like a phoenix and then returns to this, obviously for 2022. Got a funny feeling. I could definitely say 2021 has been extremely tough, but for FlipFlap it's been quite tough. In fact, we had a very, very tough winter and spring, and also the first 2 months of summer being June to July, but then, like, you know, the 16th of July, we now finally got into generation 125, which is, of course, if I grab one of these products here, boom! It was one of these toys here, generation 125, crikeys. I've never thought it would have came this early, thanks to the bloody hot weather that we had recently in summer of 2021, but crikeys, we're literally into pretty much wintertime mode, and boy oh boy, I think we're going to be pretty much, you know, I don't know what to say here, but can't wait for Generation 126 as Generation 125 and Generation 125.5 wave to an ultimate goodbye ending as well as we move on to 2022. It feels like that 2021 has been quite a tough year, and we would have thought that 2020 has been quite tough, but look at 2021. It has been quite tough with the coronavirus and whatnot, eh? And mind you, I don't know about 2022. Although the reality, I would probably say that, you know, it would pretty much get worse as we head towards the new year. But let's just keep on rejoicing the good old positiveness as 2022 rises like a phoenix and has returned once again to make peace, harmony and tranquility once and for all. And I've got a funny feeling it really is like that. 2021 is one man's trash, becomes 2022, that becomes one man's treasure. Boy, I don't know about you, but we have seen so much of everything in 2021. We had the Vietnam 2021 themed toys. We had cool vehicles like these two trucks that I've made so far, eh? They were quite a while, eh? I don't know about you, but these trucks must have done quite well, I suppose. They were the two best toys I've made so far. But the main thing I've also made for 2021, I think I've been making so far recently, were the penguins. Yeah, I did there, eh? It's been quite a while that... That's weird, the camera's not... I'm trying to... That's weird, I need the camera to focus here. Because without a good camera, I won't be able to focus well, and then people are going to be like that, oh, but Ivan, why is your camera gone all so blurry? But anyways, I think that's it though, really, eh? But yes, I think the more prominent of all things in 2021, if I grab a Christmas cotton, eh, was the Penguin couple themed items. And mind you, as Club Penguin has been part of my childhood memories, this has been the best toy so far. And mind you, the second half of 2021 has been quite amazing thanks to those freaking penguins and those two trucks. Like so, you know, I'm going to say thank you, as 2022 is just around the corner here. Hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you really did, please give this video a like, subscribe for more videos in the future, especially 2022. And as always, Happy New Year, wherever you live. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.